that and through all these experiences, I'm not trying to scare you, I'm not trying to deter anyone, but through these experiences allows us to be aware of these experiences. So it's never in vain, but I think it could have been a little bit easier for me if I had known these things going into it. Hey again, welcome back to my channel. My name's Jordan. I'm a yoga instructor and massage therapist. And today I'm here to talk to you guys about what you can sort of expect that is actually really the unexpected in teacher training. Let's just hop into it. Let's get started. Let's get to like the nitty gritty. Because as I was thinking about like these things that I would want to tell someone who started teacher training, is that they all sort of were like phases of teacher training. I thought of 3 reasons. It's kind of literally the 3 phases, and once you go through the 3 phases, they're all happening at once, the entire teacher training. The first sort of phase is being, you're gonna do lots of yoga, and you probably already knew that, but your body does not know that. And I just need to stress enough that you need to take care of yourself during this time. When I was in teacher training, I was 20, I was the youngest one, and I was going to concerts. Teacher trainings usually, unless you go off to a retreat, but teacher trainings that are meant for the everyday person who works 9 to 5, teacher training is Friday night, Saturday day, Sunday day. So, although you know you're going to be doing lots of yoga during your teacher training, think about doing yoga 3 days a week, all back to back, on top of working your regular job for like 3 months. Like, that was a lot for me. Later, depending on how long your teacher training is, it may only be 1 weekend a month, which is great, but I mean, you also have to be like planning flows and practicing your teaching. Like, your body goes through a lot, especially if your regular day-to-day job is something strenuous. Oh my gosh, I was so sore. All I remember is body soreness. Sort of leading into my next point is sort of the second phase, and it's the spiritual awakening that comes with doing lots of yoga. And that's just bound to happen regardless of who you are, where you are, what you're doing. If you do a bunch of yoga, like a crap ton, and you are committed to it and you go for it with intention, whether it be for knowledge or just to exercise or whatever, you're gonna trigger some things within your body that are gonna send you into a spiritual awakening or possibly into an ego death. What I mean by spiritual awakening is this battling of the ego, which can lead to an ego death or simply just learning how to tame your ego, which are 2 very different things, but in the grand scheme of it is all spiritual awakening, right? Through this battling of your ego, you go into teacher training, consciously or subconsciously, you're gonna have this sort of idea of what a yoga instructor is and what you are. And as a normal person, you're gonna have these preconceived ideas of what you're looking to get out of this program. I mean, yeah, you put like thousands of dollars into it. You are rightfully able to do that. What I'm saying is that you are going to go in with this perceived idea of what you're going to become and how the experience is going to go. And you are going to end up having the biggest battle with yourself, because what is meant to happen and your idea of what is supposed to happen is so rarely the same, let's be real. And as you're going through all this energy release and the spiritual awakening, it's gonna feel like a lot, on top of the fact that you're a person and you have everyday like struggles and stressors, right? So you're constantly battling your natural path and what you're supposed to learn through your teacher training by trying to achieve something that doesn't exist. Like, you know what I mean? And then beyond that, not only are you battling yourself in your teacher training, but you're also battling like your ego of how others people's practice makes you feel. Especially in a teacher training where the teacher's using other students as examples, which I love. That's what makes teacher training awesome, is that it's so hands-on. But because of that, you're gonna probably naturally develop these complexes like, oh, I'll never be as flexible as her, I'll never be as strong as them. Those thoughts can really screw with what you're trying to do, you know what I mean? And through that, and through all these experiences, I'm not trying to scare you, I'm not trying to deter anyone, but through these experiences allows us to be aware of these experiences. So it's never in vain, but I think it could have been a little bit easier for me if I had known these things going into it. Okay, so yoga also has this really cool thing of bringing up past trauma. And not only will just doing the yoga do that, but you're in teacher training where you learn about self-reflection and energetic bodies and emotional bodies. And eventually, in some shape or fashion, some trauma, some unfinished business that you packed away in the subconscious of your mind will come up. And that's something to really be prepared for. Maybe sit down and can try to confront as many of these insecurities as you possibly can before going into it. Some things are going to come up that you didn't even know were even there. I say even some stuff I've released, I call that past life trauma. Like, I swear, I have like generational things that I just need to like cut that ether cord and just live, you know? And yoga really is a catalyst for all of these things to happen. But as like I said earlier, all these things I just brought up lead us to enlightenment, right? Yoga is an 8-limb path. We are literally living our lives to eventually achieve oneness with a higher power. We are on this path, right, to enlightenment. And we need these sort of struggles and these overcoming of struggles and these lessons that can be hard to inspire us. It is inevitable we're going to go through these things one way or another, and why not in the safety of a yoga studio with a teacher who is qualified to teach you not only how to cope with this, but to teach you how to teach others how to cope with this. So you're not only an inspiration for yourself. Oh, geez, excuse me. Right in the middle of this beautiful rant. I hate myself. Not only are you an inspiration to yourself, but you're also an inspiration to others. And we should just know that as you go into this phase of your life. So, with all of that being said, this leads to sort of the phase 3 part. And this is where things can get like really hard, right? This is where the burnout starts to happen. You're studying your fellow teacher trainees, you're studying your teacher, you're studying yourself on an anatomical level, the names of the poses, safety of yoga, all this stuff, right? As you're taking in this information, you are also low-key having a spiritual awakening and or an ego death, which is also emotionally draining. The yoga's physically draining. It's just like it's just all so much that it can really lead you to like not be in the best headspace, because facing your demons isn't easy. As you go through it, the more times it does get easier. But when you're doing and you're taking in and you're like a sponge in that moment to address those things and to try to release while absorbing is conflicting, and it's so draining. And it's not like damaging by any means. It just makes you a stronger yogi. It makes you a stronger you. But it is a lot. And if there's one advice, if there is a single, does anyone have an advice anywhere? Shaba, fetch me the advice. Alexa, call advice. Stop.
I heard you ask for advice, but I can't find
Stop.
the name of the contact.
Alexa, stop. I'm sorry, my Leo is showing so aggressively. I just made such a scene for no reason. All right, back to my point. What I was saying is, if there's one word or if there is a piece of wisdom that I can give you throughout your teacher training, or if you're making the decision to become a yoga teacher, is that the path isn't an easy one. Nothing that's worth it is easy. And that is really cheesy, but it's so true. To have that instant reward never lasts, but to work and work and work to receive a gift and a reward, just to know that there's a whole other journey ahead and there's another reward to get. I feel like that's what the practice of yoga is all about. The reward being wisdom or knowledge. Even for some, it can be like a physical or emotional gain. Like, it's just such a beautiful practice. Whenever people come up to me, no matter what their age or size or abilities or disabilities, whoever they are, they say, I'm thinking about going to teacher training. I always tell them you should do it. Like, if your heart and your mind is calling to you, if you're seeing little signs all around you and you just have like this tickle every time you think about it, I'm referring back to my tarot deck, the Fool is calling to you, and it is time for you to embark on a journey. It is the path. It is the 8-limb path. And not only that, like, to put all of the spiritual stuff aside, I like, because I work with people who tend to not be so spiritual, but I actually enjoy that. It allows me to keep it more private, actually. It is a physical journey as well, and to practice discipline and to stick to something and to see your body be pushed in different ways that you can never imagine, and to also have teachers and instructors who teach you how to control your breath and teach you how to hold poses and what muscles are what and what you're activating and what you're not activating and what you're trying to release and let go, honestly eventually leads to some sort of emotional chillage if you're not into, like, you know, the yogic, like, Ayurvedic practice. If you're just looking to do yoga for fun. I don't know. I always like to include those people too, because I do understand it. To each their own, you know? All right, and I think that concludes this video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for coming back. If you're new here, what's up? Again, my name's Jordan. I'm a yoga instructor and massage therapist. And I just like to have fun. I like to make videos and talk about things that I enjoy. And yeah, hopefully you'll subscribe. If not, I hope I show up on your what's it called? Search bar, on your suggested, wherever, whenever. And I hope you have a fabulous rest of your weekend and see the light. Peace out, y'all.